LOL take two. LOL take two. LOL take two. Now listen. Blow out the candles and make a wish. Where did that come from? I think humans are the only ones who bake cakes, wear little pointed hats, light candles, and blow them out when you turn another year older. You don't see squirrels doing it. Did the cavemen do it? Maybe it's just something Hallmark cooked up to sell cards. In any case, another year is something to celebrate, and nobody does it like us humans. Your body made it through another 525,600 minutes, and we want to party. I see my old Super 8 home movies documenting each birthday of mine starting when I was a year old. All my little friends got ice cream and a piece of angel food cake my mother had made. And we played games like Pin the Tail on the Donkey. In exchange for that, they gave me presents. That's fair, right? We fed them. They gave me gifts. A friend was telling me about her daughter's upcoming birthday. Oh my God! 12, 13-year-old kids are going to an escape room that will cost her $30 a head. Plus, she has to feed them all and provide gift bags on top of it. But gift bags? Really? An escape room? It's just out of control. The presents those little rugrats bring better be damn good to justify that expense. I'm just saying. I told her, dump the gift bags and get 2 bags of Costco meatballs and lock those little brats in the garage and let them escape from there. Have fun, kids. Mommy's having a Mai Tai. In our home movies, time marched on and the angel food cake with little clown figurines and pink frosting got replaced by chocolate cake with my Grandma Jo's butter icing. Well, the chocolate cake was so much more delicious and its taste more complex to accommodate my maturing taste buds. Okay, who am I kidding? It was the Jo's butter icing. I could have just eaten that by itself. Bowls and bowls of it. And I have. It was so delicious, and it still is. However, the name butter icing is a little deceiving. It's basically 2 cups of hydrogenated Crisco, vanilla, a cup of sugar, and some egg whites. It's like a diabetic cholesterol nightmare. Thanks, Grandma Jo. Decades later, and Quest Diagnostics appreciates all those cholesterol and follow-up screening fees. Oh, but it is so tasty. So you move past the kiddie birthdays and you move on to what I like to call transition birthdays. You turn 13 and suddenly, whoa, you're a teenager. You turn 14 and in Iowa you could get a work permit. You turn 18, yippee, you can vote and go to war. At 21 you can drink. At 49 you were asked to join AARP. 65 you get Medicare and stop relying on our awful healthcare system. At 70 and a half you have to start withdrawing funds from your 401k. Now, those are not to be confused with what I call odometer-turning birthdays, which, by definition, can also qualify as transition birthdays, thus rendering them as double whammy birthdays. Odometer birthdays end in 0, 20, 30, 40, 50, and onward. Some people freak out at odometer-turning birthdays, but it's the transition birthdays that can usually elicit the most anxiety. Now, I know some people who have major issues with not just the odometer, transition, or double whammy birthdays, but pretty much every birthday. They work themselves up into a moody, selfish frenzy every year like they're the only ones going through this yearly ritual. Frankly, I have little patience for them. Maybe it's because I'm of a certain age that I have known a fair amount of people who have lived full lives, lived their passion, did great things for others who no longer have birthdays because, well, they're dead. And those whining about getting more wrinkled or having their body parts closer to the ground, with all due respect, consider the alternative, consider yourself lucky, and get over it. I was really fine turning 40, 45, 50. Hey, I take full advantage of my AARP discounts. Hell, even 55 was a piece of cake. Double nickels. But this year, I went from 55 to 56. And suddenly, from out of nowhere, something hit me that was totally unexpected. It occurred to me that I was going from mid-50s to late 50s in a single day. Why would late 50s mean anything different? Why was this suddenly feeling like a transition birthday for no good reason? There are no new perks or life changes at 56. Or were there? I started doing a lot of soul searching about this particular mid to late birthday, and it brought back memories of other transitions I had had. When I was younger, just pre-angel food to chocolate cake transition, we had a babysitter named Jackie. She was 4 years older than me, and we used to have a lot of fun when she babysat. When I became a freshman in high school, and definitely enjoying Joe's butter icing by then, Jackie was a senior, hung with a wild crowd, and at that point, we understandably had little to do with each other. Besides, I was transitioning from early to mid-teens, and to be honest, I had my own lucrative babysitting career. Why my parents engaged Jackie's babysitting services for us that year was beyond me, especially when my folks were literally 15 minutes down the 35 freeway at the Adventureland Hotel for a weekend getaway with their friends. Maybe it was because their friends also left their 2 kids, Donnie and Joni, with us as well. Donnie was my age, and Joni was my sister's age. Poor Donnie's voice hadn't changed, and he had a big fluffy mane of curly hair, and he weighed about 3 pounds. I told my parents they didn't need to hire Jackie to babysit all of us that weekend, but they did it anyway. I don't know if it was a way to rebel against my parents, but my goal that weekend became to make Jackie's life as miserable as possible. And I'm happy to report I succeeded. We put Donnie in a headscarf, and when Jackie arrived at the house, we told her that she would be babysitting the Adelman kids plus Joni and her sister Donna. Jackie said, "I thought it was a boy and girl," and we said, "No, you must have heard wrong." We kept the charade up for most of the night. Jackie left us on our own and retreated to my parents' bedroom upstairs and talked on the phone. We kids built a fort in the basement and would send my little brother Timmy, Joni, and my sister Robin upstairs to listen to Jackie's phone calls outside my parents' door. We swore we heard her talking about scoring some weed from her friends, and so we took our surveillance one step further. We quietly listened and recorded her phone calls from the downstairs extension until, at last, we felt we had some dirt on her. We were in the fort, listening to the phone calls in the tape recorder, plotting to turn our evidence over to the assistant district attorney of the house, my mother. Donna was back to Donnie as the headscarf had been itching his head. In the middle of a juicy phone call, suddenly the blanket on our fort ripped open and there stood Jackie, understandably madder than all get out. "What are you doing? Give me those tapes!" "No," I yelled at her. "I'm telling my parents on you." I can't remember whether she grabbed the tapes or not, but she screamed at us to go to bed and saw that Donna was indeed Donnie and then yelled at us about that too and retreated back to my parents' room. We went to our respective bedrooms. The laundry basket was in my parents' room, and I felt I needed to needle Jackie one last time. So I went up to the room to deposit my dirty clothes into the hamper. Jackie started in on me about tape recording her phone calls and lying about Donna, and I started in on her saying she was busted. We kind of ended up getting in a shoving match, and I retreated as Jackie told me she was going to call my parents. About 20 minutes later, Donnie and I were in my room listening to records when my bedroom door burst open. Carolyn, Jackie's mom, and a longtime friend of our family, stood in my doorway wearing a full-length fur coat over her nightgown. She was livid. "Tony Adelman, I am getting my daughter out of this house and calling your parents." "Yeah, but she was on the phone and trying to..." "I don't want to hear about it." Carolyn turned and slammed the door. The door slammed upstairs, and Jackie was now gone. Silence. 15 minutes later, my mom called me from Adventureland. "Tony, what did you do?" "Mom, Jackie was on the phone saying bad things." Mom said, "I don't want to hear about it. We will deal with this when we get home." Well, I got my wish. We didn't have a babysitter for the rest of the weekend, and we were just fine. I had won. Well, not really, because the next week, Carolyn and Jackie came down to the house, and our assistant DA made me apologize to both of them. Yes, it was stupid and immature of me. I was truly just awful to the poor girl. But in hindsight, it was kind of fun. And decades later, Carolyn and I still howl about her showing up in the middle of the night wearing her nightgown and a fur coat. Honestly, the whole thing was just my poor handling of the early to mid transition I was going through. Transitions aren't always easy to navigate, but let's face it, if you survive, which you usually do, they can make for great stories. So here I am, from mid-50s to now late 50s. And you know, I'm okay with it. Really. This mid to late transition came and went with a bunch of introspection, but no drama. My Screen Actors Guild pension is now suddenly not a decade away, but as my mother so lovingly pointed out, you're single digits now. Thank you, dear. And I certainly know how fast a decade can fly by. My Uncle Tom's been gone 25 years this year. He would have been 70. My friend Sarah's been gone 13 years. Seems like only yesterday. So damn it, I'm grateful. Thrilled to be above ground, still doing the things I love, and partaking in this crazy thing we call life. Okay, Tony, blow out the candles and make a wish. There. I did it. Now on to another trip around the sun, God willing, and maybe just one piece of chocolate cake. With Joe's butter icing, of course. LOL take two. LOL take two. LOL take two.